Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So this I saw from Michael at Val5 Links this afternoon. Move towards digital dollar gains steam as Boston Fed says its prototype can handle 1.7 million transactions per second. So researchers say a US CBDC could settle more transactions in less than 2 seconds. So here's the latest development, guys, on an American central bank digital currency. The creation of a government-backed cryptocurrency took a major step forward on Thursday when the Federal Reserve of Boston released a research paper in collaboration with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology on the technical viability of a Fed-backed digital dollar, also known as a CBDC. The results are promising for the viability of the digital dollar. Again, handling 1.7 million transactions per second. That's more than 2.5 times the number of transactions Visa can handle on its network, accordingly, statistics cited by Visa CFO. That's what he said in an interview. Furthermore, the vast majority of these transactions were settled in less than 2 seconds, a tantalizing result for users of the US banking system, which can force customers to wait days before the fund transfers are settled. That performance is also far superior to popular cryptocurrencies, with the Bitcoin network capable of handling just 7 transactions per second and Ethereum just 25 transactions per second. Well, they don't mention XRP in this paper. However, central bank digital currencies, if you are using a CBDC nationally, within your country, you are likely not going to have the need to use XRP because XRP does source for liquidity to exchange different types of assets. So this is an interesting development. The successful rollout of a central bank digital currency will likely be resisted by Bitcoin purists who see Bitcoin as a means to overthrow the power of central banks and governments over money. Well, we know a CBDC can be programmable. It may not be used, but it can be used to control the public. Other crypto enthusiasts who aren't wed to the libertarian ideology that motivated the creation of Bitcoin are likely to welcome the digital dollar as evidence that the government is embracing their vision of a global economy greased primarily by cryptocurrencies. So the latest development here, this goes on for a while, guys. I will link this in the description of the video, though. I wanted to bring this up because we are entering a new era of finance. The writing is on the wall. Many markets are teetering at their top, guys. I've got the S&P 500 up here on the daily, and although we did see a bit of a rebound for the S&P 500, who knows if this is going to hold. We did see a significant drop from the top all the way down here, a 12.34% decrease. That's big for stock markets, not so much for cryptocurrencies, but for stock markets, that is a lot. We did see a rebound up. However, where are we now? Are we retracing to the 702? We could eventually see that. And then what are we seeing here? Are we going to see the S&P climb further or decline into the abyss? Many are not banking on the traditional markets. Many are suggesting to take your money out of traditional markets and put it in something where you can hedge against fiat currency, namely precious metals like gold or silver or cryptocurrencies. So this is one theory. Of course, the move to the CBDC is just part of this story. There's also this guy's from Alf at Macro Elf here on Twitter. Pay attention to what the market is telling you. The US inflation break-even curve is inverted big time. Investors expect US inflation to average 3% in 2022 and 2023, but only 2.3% over the next 10 years. Powell is waging war against an already inverted inflation curve. And so here's just a little diagram to demonstrate that the US 2-year to 10-year inflation break-even curve is inverted. So some people down here like Santiago Valles saying, they haven't even started meaningful tightening. Purchases still in full swing. Isn't this pricing presumptuous? I'm not saying the bond market is wrong. I'm simply thinking that the Fed is likely playing it like a fiddle to do their job for them. David down here saying, or the 5 banks are trying to hold the Fed hostage. What if the Fed is telling the Davos crowd the game is over? So that's an interesting perspective. Hard to say, but will be interesting to watch it play out. If he raises substantially, Europe will crater and their capital will flow here. I have a feeling the Davos crowd realizes the writing is on the wall. This is me personally. I think they understand the financial system is broken, and I think they have indeed used this opportunity, as Klaus Schwab has said in videos. They have used the opportunity, the beer flu pandemic. They've used it to implement the Great Reset. They know the system is broken. This is all about the money, guys. Always follow the money. And so they are purposely giving money in the form of stimulus checks and for other reasons as well. Paying individuals to stay at home. Don't worry if you don't go back to your jobs. Meanwhile, businesses are floundering across the world, economies shutting down, all in an attempt to destroy what we have built over centuries. And so they want to usher in a new era, the transfer of wealth from the people, from governments, to a handful of global elites. And they essentially want us to be peasants, giving us our pittance, our UBI, while they control everything. Okay, that's just one theory. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that that's what's happening. Anyway, I want to keep moving though. The expectations are extremely inaccurate. Just 3 years ago, they said inflation would be 2% in 2021, and it was off by 250%. Interest rate forecasts are like options. Everyone has one and they all stink. Jerome POW, president, says down here, he's just making a case to keep asset prices at bubble levels due to the Fed manipulation/welfare. Spoiler alert, this hasn't worked for 90% of people over 40 years, but very well for the investor/donor class. Shock, he doesn't want that to change. Okay, inflation, definitely part of this story. The economy building a CBDC, an American central bank digital currency. Is the economy in trouble? The good news, guys, though, Ripple and XRP. Not only that, Stellar's XLM on the winning side of this. So blockchain, supply chain, finance markets to witness huge growth by 2029. Don't forget, this is a multi-year plan. Agenda 2030, I believe it's called, is a multi-year plan started in 2020, and we are just at the beginning of it. So to this point here, blockchain, supply chain, finance market to witness huge growth in the coming years. And they list down here, guys, the highest firms on this report. Actually, let me just read you guys this. Blockchain benefits present automation options in international sourcing, SCF practices with good contracts, transparency and safety of distributed ledger knowledge characteristic. The position of provide chain finance is more and more seen as an asset to enterprise processes. The international blockchain provide chain finance market is anticipated to develop at a big CAGR of 33.4% by 2028. The rising demand for blockchain in provide chain finance to boost the safety of provide chain transactions is the essential issue driving the expansion of the blockchain in provide chain finance markets throughout the globe. Blockchain can create an everlasting audit path for all transactions to extend belief between related events. The blockchain provide chain finance market analysis report supplies a radical and complete evaluation of the worldwide trade. And just down here, guys, the highest firms on this report, IBM and Ripple. We know Stellar has a connection to IBM, and of course, Ripple, the XRP token, definitely going to be big players in this space. So, what else should we make note of here? BondCrypt XRP bringing this to our attention. Update version date. This was from just last week, January 28th, Faster Payments Council. And so we know Ripple has been on the Faster Payments Council in the past, still listed here on the Faster Payments Council. So just another thing that I thought I'd mention. And the economy, I mean, in order to coordinate a crash, sometimes we experience what's called a black swan event. And back in 2020, when we saw the beer flu hit, that essentially shut down world economies. Everybody was locked in their houses, businesses shuttered, and we saw the stock market, again, this was February of 2020, we saw the stock market dip by about 35%. Again, this is the S&P 500. Other markets did the same. Bitcoin did the same. Cryptocurrencies, altcoins, everything saw a bit of a hit. But at that point there, this point here, this gave the rich elite class an opportunity to pour money into the market as we saw that rebound. And the mom and pops, they thought, I'm at home anyway. I've got a little money saved up. Maybe I should invest in stocks. And, this kind of thing gave rise to armchair traders, day traders. Of course, day trading has been popular in the past, but this really accelerated it. Also, the GameStop phenomenon, right? People getting into cryptocurrencies as well. We were seeing all this happen, and now, guys, it's been 2 years. But here's the problem. Do you think most people realize that the writing is on the wall? If they're not following the news and they're just kind of excited that they've made profits over the last 2 years without having to work a real job, do you think they're seeing that the writing is on the wall? Do you think they realize that the S&P 500 has finally reached its peak? This is scary stuff for novices because I don't think they get what is coming next. So could we witness another black swan event that would essentially ruin financial markets? Guys, this from the Rock _XRP, another black swan, bringing this to our attention. And I'm just going to bring up the key points here. A Russian invasion of Ukraine could send shockwaves through financial markets. And this from CNBC. Here are some of the key points. Tensions between Russia and the West over Ukraine have not had much of an impact on U.S. stocks, but they have impacted oil and other commodities. Strategists say were Russia to move any of its more than 100,000 troops that are on the border into Ukraine, that would result in a drop in stock prices and a surge in commodities. So, perhaps another black swan event on the horizon. Something that could really destroy the stock market and that would bring commodity prices higher. Something to also make note of, guys. Some are also saying that world elites are manufacturing this Russian-Ukrainian war. They are kind of egging it on. They want the Great Reset to be implemented. I did a video just this past week where I discussed how Russia is not too interested in the Great Reset for various different reasons. If you guys didn't catch that, I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. But the World Economic Forum has a vested interest in this. World elites, they will just become richer and richer, stealing the wealth from the people of Western nations, governments handing it over willingly. Which brings me to this, guys. Did you see this from XR Phoenix here on Twitter? Next leg up incoming. So here's an interesting observation. He retweeted out this tweet from Bubba Cugs, essentially just saying that he's reading Jordan B. Peterson's books. One of them called The 4-Hour Workweek. Part of that 4-hour workweek, the idea behind it, many jobs will be lost in this Great Reset, and this is why the people are going to require a universal basic income. I don't believe this is what Jordan Peterson is talking about, but to decode this message, you will own nothing and be happy. You will not have a job and you will be happy. We will give you your pittance UBI and you will comply. Well, look who also retweeted out a similar image of somebody in a hammock hung between two palm trees here. Mr. Poole, guys, from back in 2020. And who remembers Kishiro Fuki? He was very active in the XRP community back in 2019. I have since gone to his Twitter profile, and it looks like he created a new one back in April of 2019. Tweets are protected. My request to view his tweets still pending here. But it's interesting because he also tweeted this out, and I don't know when this tweet was from. It could be even from 2019. The date down here is cut off. Nevertheless, the same hammock image between the two palm trees, as we see here from the Mr. Poole tweet in 2020 and on the Jordan Peterson book, The 4-Hour Workweek. Interesting connection there. But guys, it gets even better. You know BlackRock and Vanguard, two of the most powerful companies on planet Earth. Well, this is what they tweeted out back in December. The BlackRock Investment Institute believes inflation will settle higher than pre-pandemic levels. What will this mean for markets in the new year? Explore the 3 investment themes of our 2022 global outlook on this episode. So I'll link this in the description if you guys are interested, but I'm just going to touch on some of these key points here. Living with inflation, they talk about the fact that we are just going to have to deal with it. Also, cutting through the confusion. Because we have to deal with it, we have to understand how that is going to impact our lives. And navigating net zero. Again, this theme of a better world, less pollution, climate initiatives, everything that relates back to the global reset, the Great Reset. So those are just 3 of the subtopics that they discuss in this video. Again, guys, remember, this is coming from BlackRock. And if you didn't think it could get better than that, this was originally sent to me by Dawdler for XRP, and he retweeted out Jimmy Valley's tweet here, time is of the essence, do the deal. Now that's referring to the XRP buyback from the Fed. But he retweeted out this video, headline Hunter Alerts New. So this is from former BlackRock executive Edward Dowd. The global debt bubble is at its peak and it's becoming apparent, given what's going on across the globe, that we're at the end. They were able to print 65% more money to keep things afloat, but we are at the end. Listen to what he has to say.
The global debt bubble is at its peak, and it's becoming apparent given what's going on across the globe that we're at the end. And due to that fact, we're going to see lots of crazy things in the financial markets. I think we're going to see the credit markets become unhinged, the equity markets become unhinged. The Fed got a reprieve from COVID when they were able to, under the cover of COVID, print 65% more money to keep this thing afloat. But we're at the end days here, and a lot of what you're seeing in the response from global governments is what I believe is setting up a system to, under the guise of medical tyranny, to prevent the riots that are going to ensue once this thing all unwinds. That's my personal belief, and I watch what people do, know what they say.
Whoa, so a lot to unpack here. Former BlackRock executive Edward Dowd essentially saying markets are ready to collapse, and governments were using the pandemic as a guise to print more money. Also, discussing the restrictions that certain governments have put in place because of the beer flu, used to prevent extreme rioting in the streets once the hits the fan. So interesting. Great insight here from Edward Dowd, former BlackRock executive. That on the heels of BlackRock just a couple of months ago telling us we should be ready. And could another Black Swan event trigger this financial collapse? The writing's already on the walls, guys. The S&P 500's already been teetering. The good news, if you hold XRP, you know it's already planned to be part of that new financial system. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.